Are you ready for Bundesliga prediction number 3? Then let's go for the best accas and the best predictions with me. Before we start into matchday number 3, be sure to press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want the really best Bundesliga predictions on YouTube. And I prove you why. On game day number 2, I made 7 out of 9 correct 3-ways and I won 3 out of 4 single bets, made me 3.6 units profit. But not enough. Also my Acca was a hit. I got back the money with the Freiburg and Wolfsburg bet, but the Union Berlin Asian Handicap hit with 2 or more goals in advantage, so I made 1.8 profit in this Acca, and in the single bets made me a total profit of 5.2. And in my comparison to Oddspedia's new Bundesliga expert, I made a slightly more profit on the first game day with 0.7 in total, while he made a loss of 0.3 on the first game day. And on the second game day I also was way better than him. And you can see it that my Acca was a winner, and if you bet on my Acca bets, single bets, I would have made 1.8 in the single bets, while he lost 0.9 in his single bets because Dortmund was a loser and his 3 other single bets were ridiculous low odds to win almost nothing with it. So at the end, with -1 in his Acca and my winnings in these 3 bets with the Acca, I made profit of 4.3. He made a total loss of 2.2 in addition to the first game day, which makes a difference of 6.5 units more if you follow my predictions after just 2 game days in the Bundesliga instead of Oddspedia's Ronan. So again, if you don't subscribe to this channel, you have the time now to do it. I wait for you. And thanks to everyone else who is supporting me already, because I really appreciate it, and I make these videos only for fun to show you that Oddspedia has not the best bets outside, but they have the most followers and they have 3,000 views per videos in the Bundesliga, and I think I deserve it more. But I will prove you this game day as well. So let's start with it. With the first game, Dortmund against Heidenheim. I would say these odds of 1.3 on Dortmund are too low to bet on. I'm not I'm not a fan of favorite bets, so we always want to have a fair amount of odds and to win a fair amount of money if we risk our money on a bet. So as we've seen in the last matches, Dortmund was not really strong against Cologne in the first game, and also not very good in the second game against Bochum. They only had a draw there, 1-1. So it's too dangerous to bet on Dortmund at the early stage of the season. Now they signed a new striker, but I'm not sure if Füllkrug is already playing and if he's scoring. On the other hand, Heidenheim made a good impression on their second game, scoring twice against Hoffenheim, but losing in the end with 2-3. Anyway, I think the better thing is if there are so low favorite bets to show on the halftime market. If you think Dortmund might win this game, the odds on first time win are way better, as Dortmund is one of the best home teams. And another interesting bet could be both teams to score, as Heidenheim, was really not bad on the second game day, and Dortmund is able to concede a goal against Bochum, so maybe they are also able to concede a goal against Heidenheim. To be honest, I don't really like both of these bets because the game is not really a fair one, as we expect Dortmund to be way better at home. They should not lose this game for sure, but betting on a Dortmund win is no option. And I also don't like, the first half bet too much. I just telling you, if you are keen on betting in this game, never bet on small favorite odds. Even if you win from time to time, in the long run, you end up losing a lot, and you can watch another channel for that. Second game, Leverkusen Darmstadt. Leverkusen is leading in the Bundesliga after the first game days. They didn't lose a game and made 2 winnings with 6 points, scoring 6 goals, conceding 2. Very good start for Leverkusen, and now they also for sure are the huge favorite against a new team like Darmstadt, who had some good chances against Union Berlin, because Union Berlin was playing with 10 players, but 10 players of Union Berlin were still way enough to beat Darmstadt, and that's why, no consideration about betting on Darmstadt at all. Betting on Leverkusen, same situation as on the Dortmund game. Too small odds, too high risk that Leverkusen fucks up something, and it would not be the first time in the Bundesliga. So also an option here to go at the first half win of 1.6 on Leverkusen. Not my favorite bet at all. Anyway, no really good bet in this game. Stuttgart versus Freiburg. A very interesting game in the southwest of Germany. Both teams are very close to each other in the cities, and I don't get why the odds are so pro home team Stuttgart, because they have odds of 2.2, which is way too low. Just for reminding you that Stuttgart was number 16 last year in the standings at the end of the season, almost relegated into the second league, and now they lost on game day 2 against Leipzig with 5-1. Anyway, they made a good first game day against a really weak Bochum team at home. But now we have a completely different situation with a opponent like Freiburg winning the first 2 games, being number 5 in the last season, 11 places up to Stuttgart. And let's have a look at the results of the last season. And we see that Freiburg was winning both of these games with 2-1 at home and 1-0 at Stuttgart. So again, why is Stuttgart the favorite in this game? Doesn't make any sense, which is good for us, because we find value in a really attractive bet on Freiburg. We can bet on Freiburg win 3.25. Good enough, but we don't have to. I'm always a huge fan of not betting on winners. I like betting so that we have an insurance on a draw, because the draws are highly likely in Bundesliga as well, and we still get really great odds of 2.25 on draw no bet. That means if there's a draw, we get our money back. If Freiburg is winning, we have still great odds of 2.25. And everything said, I would say this is one of my favorite bets on this game day. And disclaimer, you can always lose a bet like this for sure. I'm not Nostradamus. I have no glass, and I can't predict the future, but I can calculate odds and probabilities, and the probabilities that Freiburg is not the underdog in this game and they might be the better team in this situation. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, and so betting on good odds in the long run, betting on value bets makes you profit, and that's the system. And we will see if it works out in the long run in the after 34 game days in the Bundesliga, like I made profit in the last 5 years in Bundesliga. And so just keep following, and let's get to the next game. Hoffenheim against Wolfsburg. What would you say? In the standings, we see a different situation. Wolfsburg was winning the first 2 games, has 6 points now, only conceded 1 goal. And Hoffenheim just won on game day 2 against Heidenheim, and now they have 3 points. But the full truth in this game is that Wolfsburg had really weak opponents with Cologne and Heidenheim in their first game, and also Hoffenheim has not really good games till now. But as you can see, there were a lot of goals in Hoffenheim games, and I expect also Wolfsburg to score, as they did score twice in both of the first games. And so let's have a look at the odds, because at the end it's an odds game. And we see Hoffenheim is a slightly favorite, which is not in reality, as you've seen the standings and the games of Hoffenheim in the first 2 game days. I would say Wolfsburg is the favorite in this game. But I also would say the games of Wolfsburg were not really hard for them. They didn't impress me too much. So the bet on a Wolfsburg win is no option here. But again, we get really good odds on draw no bet on Wolfsburg with 1.9. In the end, I expect this game to be a draw. So we have 2 options: betting right straight on a draw with odds of 3.6. And on the other hand, we can have this draw no bet on Wolfsburg with 1.9. If it comes to goals, there's not much to win, as the odds on over 2.5 goals are only 1.5. This is not worth to put money on. I'm also not a big fan on betting on huge over amounts, as there is mostly no value. As football fans want to watch games and want to see goals, they think they bet on goals. And in the Bundesliga, to be honest, it's mostly right in the last years, as it's the high scoring league in Europe. So if you are into 2.3 for over 3.5 goals is okay, but it's not my favorite bet. Werder Bremen against Mainz. Both of them are really in trouble after only 2 game days, and Werder Bremen also sold their best striker Niklas Füllkrug for 15 million euro to Borussia Dortmund. So they lost a really big quality in their squad after also losing their first 2 games against Bayern Munich. Okay, you can lose. The game was not really bad. At the end, they conceded 4 goals. That's not really good. Against Freiburg, they collected the losing goal in the 90 plus 6th minute. And so, they were close to getting a point at Freiburg, which is a really good result at the end. And losing 1-0, it's a bit of bad luck. So these are good signs anyway for Bremen for this home game. Mainz, on the other hand, also had no really good games. They lost against Union Berlin, but they had to play and to face way better opponent or better opponents than they are by themselves. They made a good game against Frankfurt, almost winning this. And so, I think both should not lose the game. And in this situation, you hardly can pick a winner, because they have no reasons to bet on them after the first game days. And it's pure speculation if you say, Bremen as a home team might have a small advantage, and betting on Bremen with a draw no bet could be an option, but I say could be an option mostly if I personally won't bet on it, because I pick the cherries and I want only have really good bets where I'm 100% behind them. And in this situation, I'm not behind anybody, and I'm also thinking this best bet here would be a draw, 3.5. Both can live with 1 point, but both don't want to lose this game, and could be really worse for both of them. And so this is, in my eyes, the most reasonable result here. That's a draw. And if you just switched over from another channel and want me to pick winners, but if there are no winners, and if I'm not really happy with a prediction on a winner, I won't give you a winner. And if you want to criticize me if I bet on a draw, then you should first understand that betting is always a probability, and you get very high odds on a draw, which is also about 25 to 33% likely in the Bundesliga. And in games like this, where the bookies already say we have no clear favorite, the bookies already give you a hint that this could be a draw. So don't blame me, blame the bookies. And at the end, betting on the biggest odds in this situation makes the most profit and makes the most sense at the end. I hope you understand. If not, just follow me for the next games and maybe you will understand. Augsburg versus Bochum. Oh, dude, we can really make this short, as you see two really bad teams playing each other, and we have one favorite with Augsburg. I really don't want to bet on Augsburg as a favorite with odds like 2. If they get odds of 3, I would say yes, okay. I personally like Augsburg more, and I would say Augsburg should have the chances to win at home, but the odds are way too bad for Augsburg. On the other hand, the odds are really way too bad also on Bochum, no matter that they got 1 point at home against Borussia Dortmund. Completely different situation playing at home against a rival like Dortmund, which is also one of the top teams. Bochum was 200% motivated to play against Dortmund. But playing at Augsburg away, where they're not the best away team, as I said, is a completely different situation. In the last season, Augsburg was not winning each of both games against Bochum. Both games were Bochum winners. Also another reason not to be very happy on Augsburg. But anyway, betting on Bochum is just a waste of money anyway, and I won't do that. Gladbach against Bayern Munich, the top game on this game day. And first, have a look at the recent games between these two teams. The last winner last season was Gladbach. We had a draw, we had a Gladbach win, we had a Gladbach win, we had a draw, we had a Gladbach win. 6 games in a row Bayern Munich couldn't beat Gladbach. This one was a friendly game. You can ignore this. But anyway, then we can go further because this is a Gladbach home game. We also see that Bayern Munich lost this game at Gladbach. The next game, 2029 at Gladbach, they also lost. And the last winner from Bayern Munich at Gladbach is more than 4 years ago. And so Bayern Munich, is really afraid of Gladbach, or was afraid in the past. But this situation is just a funny fact, as we see that Bayern Munich for sure has now Harry Kane, has won the first 2 games, only conceded 1 goal, and is a completely, and not a completely, but I think it's a way better team at the moment than Gladbach, as Gladbach had 4-4 on the first game day and now lost 3-0 at Leverkusen. Gladbach also lost a huge quality with a lot of players leaving the club. And at the other side, Bayern Munich was signing a 100 million Harry Kane. And this makes clear that we should not be afraid of the head-to-head comparison in the last years. And Bayern will now win this game. But anyway, the odds on Bayern 1.3 are still way too bad to bet on. No matter what I've said, it's still really bad risk or reward ratio. But anyway, I can't see a good bet in this game, as Bayern Munich is the clear favorite. I don't want to bet on anything like Gladbach. I don't want to bet on a lot of goals here because you never know. And anything else makes no sense for me. So like in most of the Bayern games or favorite games, just don't bet on these games. On Sunday, we have a game between Frankfurt and Cologne. Frankfurt had a game on Thursday against Levski Sofia, winning 2-0 at home. Now again, a home game against a weak Cologne team. It's no surprise that Frankfurt is a favorite here. The odds of 2.1 on Frankfurt are, to be honest, really bad, as Frankfurt was also not really a good team in the first 2 game days, and I won't bet on them. I can imagine that Frankfurt might win this game as they are a home team, so you don't have to be a prophet here. But yeah, it's not about winning bets, it's about winning good bets and good odds, and these odds on Frankfurt are too low. That's why I won't do this. My result prediction is 1-1 in this game. And another interesting thing could be that we have a draw in the first half, that there are no goals in the first half, as I think the both teams are not really into scoring a lot of goals. And also the huge problem for Frankfurt would be that Kolomuani is not playing. Their by far best player wants to leave the club and strikes to go to Paris, and that's why, yeah, Frankfurt might miss some scoring quality. And Cologne also lacks a lot of scoring quality. That's why I think there will be a draw, a 0-0 at the first half, and maybe also a draw at the end, maybe 1-1 or something else. But these 2 options are really attractive for me because, yeah, you can pick a winner if you want, but it's not my thing here. And one of the best games on this game day is Union Berlin against Leipzig. Not only they're both playing in the Champions League in this season, Union Berlin is leading in the standings after 2 game days, winning both games in a really attractive style, scoring 8 goals, and yeah, with their new signings, Gosens and Volland. And now they made a real cool signing, Leonardo Bonucci, one of the best Italian defenders in the last 10 years. I'm really a huge fan of Bonucci, and I really love him playing in the Bundesliga, no matter that he's yeah, in a kind of age, but I really think this is an awesome player for Union Berlin, makes their squad even more attractive, and yeah, I really enjoy watching them, and I hope them the best in this game. But enough as a fan of Union Berlin. Leipzig is really, really hard to beat. They lost the first game against Leverkusen, but this was also a very tough game. And in the second game, they were 1-0 behind against Stuttgart, but at the end, they scored 5 goals in halftime number 2. So you see what this Leipzig squad is able to do if they are on fire, with their also great new players like Xavi Simon and Opeda, who was one of the best scorers in the French league last year. And so, yeah, it's a very interesting game. But the interesting thing here is that Union Berlin won the last 3 games against Leipzig, all 2-1. And yeah, that's a result I really like also in this game. We have interesting odds here, as Union Berlin is the underdog, has way higher odds than Leipzig. Yes, after the second half of Leipzig against Stuttgart, this is a kind of realistic odd as well, but we have a lot of reasons to believe that Union Berlin is not losing this game, just because they made a really good 2 first games. They have really improved their already good squad, which made them number 4 in the last season. And they were one of the best home teams in the last season and in the seasons before. So I also expect them to be very strong at home in the small stadium. And yeah, betting on draw no bet with odds of 2.25 is really an option here. as I hope that Union Berlin might win this game. But to be honest, betting on this, I expect not to win much, as the danger of Leipzig can't be ignored after all. The odds on Leipzig for sure are too bad to bet on, but we also have the option to bet directly on a draw, as I think it's high, the probability for a draw is about 40%, as we have two really strong teams here. A very good home team against a really good all-rounder team. And we get way better odds on a draw than betting on draw, no bet, Union Berlin. And I also think, it's more likely that there's a draw than a Union Berlin win, which these odds imply already. So yeah, this would also be more intelligent to bet on a draw here, even if you think that's boring or I don't have a clue. So let's sum up this game day number 3, and I will give you my picks and correct score predictions. Dortmund should win 3-1, Bremen, Mainz 1-1, Freiburg wins at Stuttgart 2-1, Leverkusen 2-0, Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg 2-2, Augsburg, Bochum 1-0, Bayern wins 2-0, 1-1 between Frankfurt and Cologne, and 2-2 between Union Berlin and Leipzig. So let's get to my Acca. On this game day, I really want not to lose, because there are really no clear favorites, and that's why I bet on 3 Asian Handicap 0 bets on Freiburg, Wolfsburg and Frankfurt. Total odds of 6.9. Okay, that's not really big for me, and in most situations it's better to go for the Asian Handicap -1. In these games we have also really huge odds for this. So I also show you this alternative. And it would be completely insane if all these 3 teams only win with 2 goals in advantage. You get odds of 82. And would this be awesome? I will put 1 unit on each of these 2 accas. So what do you think? Put your best bet in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and like this video channel, so that we can keep on winning and proving that we are the best channel here on YouTube if it comes to Bundesliga predictions. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.